Hello everyone, it's day 30 and today I have a 2nd April Indian Express newspaper and Indian Express explained page. There are a few important articles over this page. First is about RBI at the rate 90 since RBI has completed 90 years of its inception, and another is about the India's first solar observatory. So let us see both of these articles one by one. What are these articles are going to say? So RBI at the rate 90 snapshots from history. The central bank's story of the last 90 years has generally been one of stellar achievement. Its relationship with the government has been testy, testy, testy at times. That means it has been tested over time. But the bank has been steadfast in defending its turf. So let us see. RBI, which was established on 1st April 1935, is responsible for monetary policy, currency management, inflation targeting, regulating the banking system, and setting interest rates. The central bank's story of the last 90 years includes ups and downs, but has generally been one of the stellar achievement. So, early years of RBI legislation to set up the Reserve Bank of India was enacted in March 1934, and the provisions relating to the constitution of bank, issue of share capital, and establishment of central and local boards became operative from January 1, 1935. The first governor of the RBI was the Australian Sir Osborne Alke Smith, one of the two managing governors of the Imperial Bank of India. Sir C.D. Deshmukh was the first Indian to become governor after, I think, independence or before independence, I don't know. Following partition, it was agreed that the RBI would ease to the currency authority for Pakistan, and Indian notes would cease to be legal tender in Pakistan. The RBI's relationship with the government has been testy at times, but the bank has been steadfast in defending its stuff whenever the government has tried to interfere. The reforms of 1991. A sharp increase in the oil prices in August 1990 led to an acute economic crisis, making the balance of payment situation unmanageable, depleting foreign exchange reserves along with the massive capital outflows, and pushing India close to default. The RBI transferred more than 46 tons of gold from its reserves to the Bank of England to borrow forex to manage immediate liquidity problems. The rupee was devalued twice by 9% and 10% in 3 days. Full convertibility of the rupee on trade account was allowed, giving more flexibility to trade. Banking reforms were announced. The setting of interest rate by lenders was deregulated, and new private bank licenses issued in 1991 between 1991 and 1995. So Manmohan Singh and Pranab Mukherjee in 1982, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi brought Manmohan Singh, then member secretary of the Planning Commission, to the RBI to succeed IG Patel as governor. Singh, who held office till January 14, 1985, prepared the groundwork for the strengthening monetary policy action and banking reforms got a boost. Singh acknowledged in the book Strictly Personal, Manmohan and Gursharan, authored by his daughter Daman Singh, that as governor he had serious differences with the then finance minister Pranab Mukherjee. Singh advised the government against granting approval to Bank of Credit and Commerce International (BCCI), a foreign bank promoted a decade earlier by the Pakistan businessman Aga Hassan Abedi to open branches in India. However, the government wanted the RBI to grant BCCI a license and directed it to approve the application. After the RBI, led by Singh, opposed it, the government took the cabinet a proposal to strip the RBI of its power to license foreign banks. Singh sent his resignation to Mukherjee and the then Prime Minister. However, he was persuaded to stay as a governor. Singh and Mukherjee reportedly had differences of opinion on the hostile takeover plan of Escorts and DCM by UK based industrialist Swaraj Paul. However, Mukherjee wrote in his book The Turbulent Years that the decision to move Singh from the RBI to the Planning Commission 1985 was taken by the then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. So Subba Rao Patel and versus government. So D. Subba Rao, who was governor between September 5, 2008 and September 4, 2013, mentioned his disagreement with the then Finance Minister P. Chidambaram. The Prime Minister never asked me. He would ask whether the Finance Minister has persuaded. I would say yes or no. He would leave it at that. He never pressed a point of view. You can say he was supporting me for he remained above the conflict between the finance minister and the governor. Subba Rao told the Indian Express in an interview. Governor Urjit Patel had a running feud with the finance minister when the government asked for more surplus dividend income from the RBI. Patel resigned after serving for 2 years in the post. So 2008 crisis and after, India escaped the 2008-9 global financial crisis through a combination of management structure and luck. Pre-crisis, the policies of Governor Y.V. Reddy against capital inflows, especially to the real estate sector, and against rapid foreign bank expansion were timely. Post-crisis management was excellent and appropriately measured. Under Subba Rao, the RBI opted for a liberal accommodative policy to salvage economic growth. Raghuram Rajan announced plans to internationalize the rupee, float international bonds linked to the consumer price index, steps to boost exports and increase inflows, and plans to review the monetary policy process and the govern and gave banks freedom to open branches without having to approach the RBI for licenses. So demonetization of 2016. On November 8, 2016, the government announced the demonetization of rupees 500 and 1000 notes of the Mahatma Gandhi series. It also announced the issuance of new 5000 and 2000 notes in exchange of the demonetized notes. The sudden withdrawal of the notes created a liquidity shortage in the country. There were long queues outside banks and people faced immense hardship across the country. It also roiled the economy. Demand fell, businesses faced a crisis, and GDP growth declined close to 1.5%. Many small units reported huge losses even after 9 months. The pace of remonetization was slow. Managing the situation was one of the biggest challenges faced by RBI. At stake was the credibility of the bank and the Governor Patel. So, MPC. So, what was MPC? The Monetary Policy Committee, which decides on interest rates, uh, started during the early phase of the Patel's tenure. He chaired the first meeting of the MPC on October 3 and 4, 2016. Despite calls from corporate India to go on easy on the asset quality review kicked off by Rajan, Patel continued the exercise. The RBI has utilized the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code to address the huge debt pile of some of the biggest defaulters. It has drawn up to two lists of 40 corporates with debt of around 4 lakh crore, which are in various stages of resolution in national company law tribunals. So, COVID 19 pandemic, as demand crashed, there were production cuts and job losses, and growth declined. Shaktikant Das, the current governor, and his team opted for an accommodative monetary policy. The repo rate, the main policy rate, was brought down to 4% kickstart growth. However, the liberal policy led to a spike in inflation, forcing the RBI to raise rates by 250 basis points to 6.5% now. However, the pandemic aided the RBI in boosting digitization of payment. The launch of UPI revolutionized payment in the banking system. So this was about the Reserve Bank of India and its formation that was happened 90 years ago on the recommendation of Young Hilton Commission. So that was it. And the next article is about the India's first solar observatory that was set up in Kodai Canal 125 years ago. So let us see. Since ancient times, seafarers and mathematicians, astronomers and physicists have studied the sun. In 1792, the British East India Company established the Madras Observatory, the first of its kind facility in this part of the world, where early solar and other astronomical observations in India began. On April 1, 1889, it was merged with Kodai Kanal's Solar Physics Observatory, and it then became the Kodai Kanal Solar Observatory, which has been operational for 125 years. So, roots in Great Drought. Scanty rainfall over South India in 1875 triggered a terrible drought that led to the deaths of many millions of people across the Madras and Mysore provinces between 1875 and 1877. Countries such as China, Egypt, and Morocco also suffered multi year droughts during this period, and an associated global famine is estimated to have killed nearly 50 million people. The Great Drought was due to multiple factors: solar activity, cool Pacific Ocean condition, followed by a record breaking El Nino in 1877 to 1878. So, this was the year when a famine also occurred in overall India, and a stretchy commission was set up, I think, under Lord Lytton. Strong Indian Ocean dipole and a warm North Atlantic Ocean condition. Okay, so why Kodaikanal was chosen? Based on the evidence that sunset periodicity, a solar cycle of 11 years when the sun's activity can be at maxima or minima, was linked to the seasonal rainfall distribution over India. The Famine Inquiry Commission recommended that the government of India undertake regular solar observation and establish a dedicated solar observatory in southern India. Thus, the idea for an Indian Solar Observatory was born. Scotland born Charles Mickey Smith, who had briefly served as a government astronomer at the Madras Observatory, was asked to locate a site. Leh, Mussoorie, and Shimla in North India were rejected for being dusty and cloudy with an unstable atmosphere. Regular solar observations from southern Indian hilltops were found to be better. Smith surveyed Kodaikanal in the Palani Hills and Kotagiri in the Nilgiris on parameters like rainfall, cloud cover, sky transparency, haze, and atmospheric stability, humidity, fog, and mist. Kodaikanal was finally chosen as the ideal location. In August 1893, the government of the Raj sanctioned the Solar Physics Observatory under the meteorological budget. In 1895, Lord Wenlock, then governor of Madras, laid its foundation stone. Under Smith, who later became the first director of the renamed COSO, that is Kodaikanal Solar Observatory, construction of the observatory picked up pace. By the end of 1900, the main observatory building and two adjacent domes had been built. So, why study sun? Being the primary source of energy, the sun supports life on Earth. Any change on the solar surface or its periphery significantly impact the Earth's atmosphere. So, powerful solar storms and the solar flares can potentially harm satellite-based operations, power grids, and navigation networks. So, expanding scope of study. Following the reorganization of all Indian observatories implemented by the Government of India on April 1, 1899, the Madras Observatory was merged with COSO, that is Kodaikanal Solar Observatory. Systematic solar observations commenced here on March 14, 1901. The Bhavnagar telescope, named after the Maharaja of Bhavnagar, operated at COSO during its nascent years. The 16-inch Newtonian, later Cassegrain, mobile telescope was imported from Dublin, Ireland, and first established at the Maharaja Takht Singh Ji Observatory in Pune around 1888. However, when the Pune Observatory closed down, it was sent to COSO in 1912. Initially, COSO solar observations included tracing bright lines from the sun's atmospheric layers, measuring solar radiations, and the direct photography of the sun in monochromatic lights of calcium and hydrogen, done to show specific features clearly. So, until the end of the World War II in 1945, COSO was dedicated to solar physics. Thereafter, it expanded its ambit to study cosmic rays, radio astronomy, ionospheric physics, etc. The continuous recording of the solar radio noise flux, an indicator of solar activity, not soil activity, commenced in 1952 and is considered India's earliest solar radio observation. So, what is COSO at the age of 125? After astrophysics was separated from the Indian Meteorological Department, COSO was reconstituted into an autonomous institution named the Indian Institute of Astrophysics on April 1, 1971. From solar data recorded on basic photographic plates or films, COSO boasts a huge digital repository containing 1.48 lakh digitized solar images. These include 33,500 white light images showing sunspots and thousands of other images of the sun recorded every day since the start of the 20th century. It is the only observatory offering high resolution digitized images for such a long period. Currently, it houses a spectrum of advanced instruments like White Light Active Region Monitor, which is known as WORM, with calcium and sodium filters to make full disk simultaneous observation of the photosphere and chromosphere layers of the sun. The COSO's rich data repository could help reconstruct the sun's past and link its behavioral changes to understand and predict its future impact. So, this was about the Kodai Canal, which was established 125 years ago in 1889. Another important article is about the why former president of South Africa has been banned from polls. So, former president Jacob Zuma speaks. He was banned from contesting the election. So, this was all from today's newspaper. So, we'll meet for 3rd April tomorrow. Till then,